activity 2.3 multi-view drawings. In this activity, we're going to take two shapes, the first being a block that we've modeled before, and turning it into a multi-view drawing, and then we'll take a multi-view drawing and transfer it into one as well. So the first thing we're going to do here is, with our first picture, is we're going to go to our data panel, click on it, and we're going to create a new folder. This new folder is going to be lesson 2.3 that we're going to save both our things under. So we create the new folder, we double click on lesson 2.3, and then we're going to now save, file, save, and our first one is going to be titled, we're going to use our last name again to determine the title of this, but we could simply save this as arc underscore and then your last name, whatever your last name is. All right, nice and easy. This is the first figure from here. If you want to call it figure 1 or 2, it doesn't matter as well. Or figure 1 and call the other one figure 2. So we have that there. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to hit this X to close out our data panel, give us more space to work with here, and we're ready to go. So now we want to create this front face, and then we're going to extrude it backwards. So the front face is pretty easy to do. We go to create sketch, and we're going to create it on the front face, and we click here again. Now this is in millimeters, so we got to go to document settings, and right now it's in inches, so we're going to change our active unit to millimeters. Okay, we've done that before. Document settings, click on this change active units and switch it to millimeters. Now the first thing we're going to do is create a rectangle. I always like to start on the origin just because it gives me the y-axis and x-axis to run against. I'm going to clip up here, and I can see that this is going to be a 37 by 18 rectangle. So I'm going to just move that real quick. Oh, didn't let me do that. I'm going a little slow here. So I'm just going to back out of that sketch, do it again. And like I said, 37 wide, 18 high. So I'm going to hit 18 high. I'm going to hit the tab button, and then I'm going to hit 37 wide. All right. So now I got my initial rectangle. I'm going to pinch in here. And what I want to do is I want to cut out the arc portion here. And I know that it's 5 and 5 and 27 units long. So I'm going to just create a circle. And I'm going to do a center diameter circle. And when I do that, I'm going to run along the bottom of my rectangle till I get to the triangle. Once this turns into a triangle, as you can see right there, there's a triangle. That means that is the midpoint of my bottom. So I'm going to click on here, drag it out a little bit, and I know the diameter has to be 27. So I hit that and hit enter. And if I just want to count these boxes, I can count that there's 5 boxes here, 5 boxes here, which is perfect. That's my 5 and 5. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to trim, and I'm going to trim the bottom of the circle, and I'm going to trim the bottom of this arc. And now you notice that this is all white, meaning that there's nothing here, and this piece right here, this top piece, highlights when I roll my cursor over it, meaning it can be extruded, and I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to hit the home button, and now I have my arc. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So I got this front piece, now I have to extrude it 18 back. So I go up to the top left to the extrude button. I click on here. I'm going to 18, hit return, and now I'm good. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot this, Control-Shift-4. All right, make sure I take a screenshot, and that will be uploaded to Canvas. You're uploading 2 things to Canvas for this activity and then 2 things for the second one. So now that we created this, I'm going to save it. All right, always save your files, especially before we go to the next part. So now I got my art on my block all ready to go, and I am going to create now a multi-view drawing. So I'm going to go to Design Workspace, and I'm going to go to Drawing from Design. All right, I'm going to use the sheet size A3, looks okay to me. All right, this is in millimeters. All right, drawing new, all this stuff good, awesome. We're going to hit OK. Now when I do this, this is going to take a little bit of time to load, but as it's loading, what it's doing is it's taking this 3D drawing and it's turning it into a multi-view drawing, meaning you're going to be able to see the front view, the side view, the top view if you like. And since this is our first multi-view drawing, we're just going to draw everything. Eventually I'm going to show you the rules about it, but this is just getting familiar with the actual program itself. So the black screen just means it's still working, it's still going and going and going. This thing does take a lot of juice out of your computer, unfortunately. But now we're good. All right, you see created by, it has my name, it has the date, and it says ARC last name. Perfect title. So we can just leave it as that. I'm going to take my ARC and I put it always in the bottom left-hand corner. Now this says the orientation is front, the scale. I can switch the scale right now to make this a little bigger. I want to make it a 1:1 scale. That's no good. Get smaller. What if I made it a 3:1 scale? That looks like a good distance because I'm going to have to fill something here, fill something to the right, and fill something to the top left. So I'm going to keep that right there, and I'm going to hit OK. So there's my first figure. Now what we need to do is we need to draw the top and the right. So I don't go to auxiliary view. I go to create, and I go to projected view. So I click on my initial. It's called our base figure, and I drag it up. Now, notice when I drag it up, this is actually the bottom. So I want the top, I have to drag it below. If I drag it to the right, I'm dragging it right here. And notice that my arc is facing not the directions I want it to. So you can kind of cheat a little bit. And if I pull it down here, it looks like I want it to. And now I hit enter. Now you notice everything's in crazy places, but I can actually take these figures. I can take my arc, I can drag it up here. I could take my top view and I could drag it above here. I can't move it left or right. I could just move it directly above or below this. Notice it already has my hidden lines, all right, on here. It has my hidden lines that shows this. I want to take this figure now and I want to shade it, so I'll double click on it. Click on it twice real quick. And you go to this figure right here. It's 4 over. You don't want shaded with hidden edges. You just want a straight shaded. So I click on that. And I click close. So that's pretty cool. I could double click on this. It shows tangent lines, it shows threaded, and it shows the hidden lines. Sometimes you won't see the visible, you'll just see visible. So you want to make sure you do see the hidden edges on there. All right. Now the last thing I need to do is I need to show that this is a semicircle, so we need the center. So I can go right here to a center line. That's going to show me where the center of the circle is. I click on both sides of the circle, and it will draw a center line right through the middle. I don't have to do that over here because the center line is also my object line, and the object line overruns all of that. All right. The last thing we're going to do here is we're going to dimension. So when I dimension, I click on the dimension button. I want to dimension the total length, which is 37, and notice it locks in, so I click up. All right, I want to dimension that this piece is 5. So I click down. The distance across is 27. And I'm going to distance that this is 5 as well. Now, typically, if I have the 37 up here, I won't have to do all 3 of these. But once again, we're just getting used to dimensioning. I can also do that the height here is 18. All right, and that dimensions perfect. It tells me that height. And now with the width, I can either do the width here or here. It doesn't matter. I'll use the top piece, showing me that the width or the depth is 18. So that's this 18 here. Okay, I got this 18. I got this 37. I got a 5, a 27, and a 5. So that gives me all the dimensions. I don't need the dimension from here to here because that's just half of 27, which is 13 and a half. You can obviously do it if you'd like to, but you don't need to. So once you finish all this, you could just press escape. All right, if you want to change the way these dimensions look, you can, but I like the way they look. So I go Control-Shift-4, and I am going to screenshot this, including your name and the title name, and then you're finished. I'm going to hit save. All right, save it. You notice it's the same name as your other file. The only difference is it adds the word drawing to it. And when I save it, I am all done. All right, as soon as my little pinwheel finishes, I'm done with the first exercise. All right, so that is your multi-view of your arc drawing. You're uploading the 2 pictures, the one of your design and the other one of your drawing. All right, great job. And now we're going to move on to the second one in the next video.